Hey guys, real quick before we start the video, I recently posted the biggest project I've ever made on YouTube to my other channel, Muptown Funk. It's a massive vlog of my recent trip to Disney World, full of a bunch of fun travel and ride footage, as well as fun facts and trivia about every ride I go on. So if you're a fan of my content, or just a Disney fan in general, make sure to go to Muptown Funk and check out that video. A link to it will be in the pinned comment. Thank you. Now on to the video. Knockoffs, am I right? Whether it's iPhone Iron Man or Space Boys 3, there's something we always find so captivating about seeing companies make bootlegs of our favorite franchises and characters, failing horrifically at trying to make something that makes sense. And the Cars franchise is absolutely no exception. There is no shortage of weird Cars knockoff toys out there, and it's time for us to dive back in and take a look at some more. Hello everybody, and welcome back to yet another video, and to another episode of Weird Disney Cars knockoff toys. This is Volume 5, and I can't wait to get into some more insane bootlegs, so let's get started. I always like to start off with some die casts, and this pack caught my eye, not because of the bootleg cars that come with it, which are all pretty standard knockoff World Grand Prix racers. We've seen items just like this before in past episodes. What stood out to me here was the card back. This is the first and only time I've ever seen a Cars knockoff product using the Cars Tunes card back as a basis. While the text is of course weird and knockoffy, you have the classic Super Racing in place of Disney Pixar, and the little circle in the corner that's supposed to talk about the character's paint job just says Cars Game. The rest of the packaging is a surprisingly accurate recreation of the original Cars Toon diecast packaging, but if you look closely, the cracks do start to show. For example, the orange part in the background of the Cars Toon packaging actually has these little stripes, these kind of rays of light going off of it. But on the knockoff packaging, it's just a kind of orange cloud instead. Something that is accurate at the top of the packaging, but not the bottom. Additionally, if you look closely, you'll see that the Mater artwork on the knockoff card back actually has his rocket attached from the end of the Mater the Greater short. Something that isn't present on the official card back. While I've seen an official render of Mater with his rocket before, this image was used several times on different pieces of merchandise like the Mater's Tall Tales video game cover, I don't think I've ever seen this one in particular. It kind of vaguely rings a bell for me, but I don't remember any merchandise ever using it. So I think it's just really funny that the people that made this knockoff packaging made a very accurate looking knockoff packaging, but the Mater image is just ever so slightly different. They didn't realize that they used the slightly wrong Mater. If you've seen this Mater render used before, definitely let me know down in the comments, but for now, I'm gonna say I'm genuinely kind of impressed with how well this knockoff replicated the original cardback style. If it weren't for the very obviously fake text and the very obviously fake products included, you could definitely fool some grandmas with this. Alright guys, I absolutely love this next one. This is a knockoff Cars 2 themed diecast pack. As you can see, these are pullback and release items. You may be wondering, why is this so zoomed in right now? And the answer is simple. I didn't want to spoil what's in here until I was done introducing it, because this pack includes 2 Lightning McQueen airplanes. I can't believe it took us 5 episodes to see a company that made a bootleg McQueen plane. Oh, but here we have 2, a big one and a little one. The father and the child. Please don't talk to me or my son ever again. Also in this pack, we have pretty rough-looking McQueen and Mater toys. By the way, this is yet another Cars 2 bootleg with a very accurate recreation of the Cars 2 merchandise name tag. I've pointed it out before in previous episodes. They tend to get that weirdly right. You know what else they got weirdly right? Jeff Gorvette and Finn McMissile. These guys actually look pretty good. Their eyes are maybe a bit big and a bit off, but they both have these pretty cool metallic paint jobs. If you could overlook the fact that Jeff is racing for the Super Racing Cup, these are not the worst things we've seen here. And on that note, why do the planes look kind of good? They remind me of the McQueen-themed Dynaco helicopter the Disney Store did once. And honestly, looking at these, I'm kind of surprised we've never gotten merchandise of a Team McQueen airplane of some kind. It's really not the worst idea. Why is a knockoff toy selling me on this concept? This next one was posted to my Discord server. I've blurred out the items included as to not spoil the contents of the pack just yet. And I'm just going to start off by saying this might have the best knockoff tagline I've ever read. Understand the true meaning of a new life. Dude, you just blew my mind. A lot of these knockoff toys include taglines that try to say that, oh, these are good for your young children to play with, but they always get lost in translation and end up like this. In addition to probably the funniest tagline I've ever read, this pack also has the strangest assortment of characters in terms of both artwork featured on the box and diecasts included with it. The top of the box is labeled Cars 3 and features images of Cars 1 McQueen, Sally, the King, and Cars 2 Pit Crew Luigi on it. While the bottom of the box, meanwhile, steals images from a Cars 3 Disney Store 5-pack, with the product photos of Cruz, Gabriel, McQueen, and Aiden. The pack itself includes Mater, without his towing assembly, Mia, or Tia, clearly based on their Chick fan diecast, but recolored back to red. Probably the funniest part of this is this big red part on the hood, which is where the C is supposed to attach to on the regular diecast. They just didn't cover it up here on the knockoff. As far as knockoff products go, this is one of the most blatantly based on Mattel ones I've seen. But the fun doesn't stop there. We have a green McQueen recolor, as well as an HTB tool cart. First time I've ever seen a knockoff tool cart. Once again, these both look very close to Mattel designs. We have a Chick Hicks Pity bootleg, the first time I've ever seen a bootleg of a Piston Cup Pity in this series. We have Chick Hicks himself recolored. And we also have this Pity, which you may at first glance think is for Rusty's, but no, it's just the Chick Hicks Pity from the pack, recolored to red. Another really funny thing about this to me is that this Pity is red with green forks, and the other one is green with red forks. Why are you changing the arm color? But don't worry, the red HDB Pity will go perfectly with the last item in this pack, this horrendous convertible McQueen, who's sponsored by both Rusty's and HTB. Why is this whole pack so Chick Hicks themed, and why are so many of the items McQueen's color but with Chick Hicks's logo? Is this like the alternate ending to Cars, the bad ending, where Lightning McQueen takes over Chick Hicks's company, so Chick Hicks has to change his color scheme so that he could hide from the tyrannical overlord Lightning McQueen, who's become so powerful he no longer needs a roof? All Lightning wants is for Chick to understand the true meaning of a new life, as he has. Okay, that's enough of that one. We all love Mac, but have you met my favorite Cars character? Macked? I can't get over how funny this one is. I don't know why. I just think his name being Macked and that being written on his hat is just incredible. I also love the fact that there's not just one, there's not just two, there are three. There's one in red, yellow, and blue. We have a whole boy band of Macked. Let's move on to one of the most popular categories of Cars knockoffs, these weird light-up moving cars. Here's a Cars 2 McQueen on a Cars 1 body, sticking his tongue out. This is pretty standard knockoff fare, a lot of little funny things that combine to make it look ridiculous. My favorite part is easily the box, which includes all of your favorite Cars characters, like Luigi, Finn McMissile shooting a missile, Mater the Greater, complete with one of his pities, Nigel Gearsley, Uncle Topolino, John Lasseter, and whoever this is. Whose fan art is this? This is not official artwork. Guys that made this McQueen, I hate to inform you that your knockoff bootleg product features unofficial Cars artwork. I know you hate to see it, but, you know, this knockoff remote control Cars 3 McQueen is actually pretty official looking. Until you realize that there are no Disney or Pixar or Cars logos anywhere, and that Jackson Storm is in the corner for some reason. The McQueen itself is actually pretty decent looking. It uses real McQueen decals, which is not common to see on a knockoff. The face is a bit much. He kind of looks like he's doing the DreamWorks face, honestly. And the wheels and tires look nothing like something McQueen has ever worn. But again, I can see this one fooling some grannies out there. Little Timmy opening this guy up on Christmas Day and crying and screaming about how it isn't V-Bucks. Come on, Grandma! I wanted to play as Cleveland Brown, part of the new animated Dads collab. God, they're so out of ideas. But while we're on the subject of knockoff cars that look suspiciously like actual Cars items, I want to talk about this McQueen that I found on AliExpress, who is shockingly close to an actual McQueen design. While I could look at this and say that this McQueen is pretty obviously fake, the shaping and model is unlike any official merchandise of McQueen I've ever seen. The eyes are pretty knockoff looking to me, and so are the headlights. I think this one is pretty convincing and could definitely fool a lot of people. The elephant in the room, though, the most obvious thing pointing to this being a knockoff, is the fact that it has opening doors. There's a whole interior in here with a steering wheel and seats. Once again, it doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty official to a parent or a relative, someone who doesn't know any better. You may think this is a real, legit McQueen item. Of course, as Cars fans, we know that they wouldn't make merchandise of a Cars character with openable doors. It's not a thing. It's very common with toy cars, but with this being the Cars universe, we don't see inside of the characters with very few exceptions. You could see inside Celine DeFair in Cars 2 and see, yeah, she's got a steering wheel and seats and stuff. And of course, there's that visual gag where Mater opens his door in Cars on the Road. But again, it's not something that we see in the Cars series. But to somebody who doesn't know that, this one is pretty convincing, right? In addition to having opening doors, this McQueen's headlights light up and he makes some car noises. But don't worry. If you're not a fan of the classic, regular Rusty's McQueen design, they made 3 more of these. There's also a Dynaco McQueen, a Radiator Springs McQueen, and an original design for Police Lightning McQueen. Dynaco and Radiator Springs McQueen both look pretty accurate to how they should. The Police McQueen is weird, but Police McQueen merchandise, especially in knockoffs, is pretty common. I just find it odd that they made like an original design here. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this was stolen from fan art or something else, because there are a lot of very specific details here. But what if you don't like any of these McQueens? What if you like their designs, but you're just upset that none of them have visible tongues? Well, don't you worry, I've got your back, because every single one of these bootleg McQueens also has a variant you could buy that's sticking his tongue out. Here's regular McQueen with his tongue, Dynaco McQueen with his tongue, Radiator Springs McQueen with his tongue, and Police McQueen ready to protect and lick. Yes, these are separate products, alternate tongue variants. Great, wonderful, thank you, AliExpress, thank you. This picture comes from a video on their website, which doesn't really provide us much other than somebody really struggling to turn the lights of these on. Come on, you'll get it, you'll get it. Good job. Oh, and they also almost drive McQueen off the table. Now, at the very least, this item does have a pretty fake-looking box. I've definitely seen it before. It features McQueen and Jackson on one side, and then on the other side, an image of the Disney Parks walk-around cruise. But now it's time to make your decision. Do you want color A, or color A with tongue? And there you have it, guys, another edition of Weird Products Knockoff Edition. Thank you all so much for watching this episode. Let me know down in the comments which of these products was your personal favorite. I think mine has to be that crazy Chick Hicks diecast pack. Also, don't forget to check out my new Disney World vlog over on my other channel, Muptown Funk, if you're interested. But for now, I'll be signing off. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.